So, Kedon Slovis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and a bunch of the players at USC decided they're going to try to do their own letter-writing campaign to Governor Gavin Newsom saying, we want to play football. But you're not the Big Ten, which is to say that you are regional. And the politics, and quite literally the topography, that reflects the Big Ten country is not what reflects the Pac-12 country. You are in Los Angeles. And I read the letter that Kedon Slovis and those kids drafted and then tagged Gavin Newsom in as governor of California. And I could not help but notice there was not one single word uttered about the wildfires that are changing the color of the sky in Northern California, in Oregon, and in Washington. It was the kind of tone-deaf letter that could only be submitted by a bunch of kids that go to a private school where they don't actually have to interact with anybody else. They forget that they play in a league that has 2 teams from Oregon in it, 2 teams from Washington in it. What are you going to tell Cal about this? Look, everybody wants to play football. We understand that. But in California in particular, it is not safe to play football. I don't know how I get this any further through thick skulls. If they have wildfires, you can't play. You have to travel to parts of the state that are on fire. You have to travel to parts of the country that are on fire. And no matter what workaround you want to try to make to get a college football season off the ground in the fall, it's not happening. The amount of resources that would have to be redirected to play Pac-12 football from things that actually matter, like stopping wildfires and containing COVID-19, would not allow for anything like Pac-12 football. And all we would do is say, yo, man, what we're saying in the Big Ten, what we're saying in the rest of the country, quite honestly, if we could get this daily testing for football players, why the hell can't we get it for elementary schools, middle schools, high schools? What's the difference? Oh, yeah, that's right. The economics of the argument, meaning free labor that generates millions of dollars. I don't like it. I don't trust it. I don't know how the kids came to this conclusion without asking these very clear questions about, is there still fires raging? Yeah. And then I got Graham Harrell co-signing this. Again, for folks that live in a football bubble, probably makes sense. But you and I don't live in a football bubble. We go to work. We have families. We have to worry about more than whether or not our football team is going to be any good. I make this analogy a lot, but I believe in it. Nick Saban is one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. He's had just ridiculous levels of success. And yet there are so many college football coaches that frankly suck at their jobs. You only have one job as a big-time college football coach. You don't take anybody to school. You don't make grocery. You don't make sure the mortgage is paid on time. You don't look at the electric bill. You damn sure don't even worry about whether or not you're going to have clothes to wear because you get outfitted every single day. You have a schedule that is regimented. And there are teams of people that allow for you to focus on one aspect of life, football. If the rest of us got to focus on one aspect of life, we would be Nick Sabans too. And yet that is precisely the reason why they are unqualified to have opinions about what goes on in the rest of the world. Take your P's and Q's from the people that you're supposed to trust to make those decisions. Athletic directors, presidents, and the like. I have to worry about more than this show. If I only had to worry about this show, there'd be way more graphics, there'd be people working here. But it's just me. I find no sympathy from myself to give these folks when they talk about we want to play. So? Fat people want to be skinny. Short people want to be tall. We don't all get what we want. And we're at the beck and call of other people. Period. Just tone deaf, and I hate it. All right, let me check on this this chat before we get into the Big Ten in earnest. See if we got any good questions in here. Let me see. Off topic, it can wait until the end of the show. Jesse Acosta asked, are you still active on Patreon? I still got it up, and that money gets sent to charities like the Boys and Girls Club here in Tulsa. Many of you know that I opened a scholarship fund at my alma mater, the University of Tulsa, that is for students of color from North Tulsa, Tulsa Public Schools, that choose to attend the University of Tulsa. That's what that money gets used for, We have it, so why not give it? Let me see. What else we got in here? Speaking of coaches having regimented life, I saw Riley at a school event for his kiddo. Yeah, Michael, he's really into his daughters, and I applaud it. Before people were wearing masks as mandate, dude was wearing masks to watch his girls play softball. Here for it. There are a lot of things that I could pick on Lincoln Riley for. But on the whole, outstanding man. Tremendous integrity. And when he makes a mistake, yeah, I come after him. When he does stuff like this, I'm proud of him. And I was proud of him over the summer because the dude in Norman was doing what I wanted him to do and what I thought he should do and what was right, quite honestly. The dude in Stillwater, not at all. Let me see. Chris Nelson. Any chance the Pac-12 not playing could make it more likely the Big 12 can raid them? Yo, man, what's to raid? USC? Oregon? What do you actually want? People tell me they want the Arizona schools. I'm like, for what? You can go in there and get the kids from Arizona. Bijan Robinson is at Texas. Spencer Rattler's at Oklahoma. You don't need the recruiting footprint. You can go over there and raid them. I'm not sure that there's a whole hell of a lot that I want from the Pac-12. The things that Stanford used to provide, those championships in sailing, in men's volleyball, in fencing, they don't even support those programs anymore. So it ain't like you're getting this NCAA Directors Collegiate Cup or whatever the hell it is. Those country club sports are gone. So maybe Oregon, because Nike, Phil Knight's alma mater, where they just pump money into the program, you can get a residual off of that. But I don't necessarily want Washington or Washington State, Oregon State, Utah. The talk in the Big 12 is about adding BYU, not Utah. And I don't even want to add BYU. Because, why? Why would I want my 19-year-old kids to play 27-year-old men with teenagers? Why would I want grown men playing against my kids? That ain't a good look for me. And we have this whole aspect of we now have alcohol in stadiums. Guess where there's not going to be any alcohol in the stadium? Provo. Nah, man, there's nothing that I would want to raid in the Pac-12. That's just it. I'm here for blowing up the Big 12, man. It's getting on my nerves, especially after this Sun Belt fiasco. What's the save? OU, Texas. Who else is good? Who else is worthwhile? Texas Christian was a Mountain West team. West Virginia was a Big East team. What are we doing here? Who wants Kansas and Kansas State? Honestly. Yeah, that's what I thought.